George Casey Jr. George Casey Jr., I am the greatest. George Casey Jr., I am the greatest.
I have a $100 bill. If I offer this to someone here today, who would want it? What if I fold it in half? Who would still want it? What if I crumbled it up and stepped on it? Who would still want it? Contest master, Toastmasters guest. This shows one thing. We have not stopped believing in money. What about when it comes to us? Do we believe in ourselves? There's such thing as the law of belief. And the law of belief says that whatever you believe in with conviction will become your reality. Simply put, you will become who you accept and agree to be through your everyday thoughts. My favorite boxer, Muhammad Ali, exemplifies this law. He called himself the G-O-A-T, the greatest of all time. Now, if you know anything about Muhammad Ali, you know that he certainly believed in himself, even when others didn't. Once before one of his biggest fights, Ali enlightened the crowd by saying, "I've been chopping down trees. I've done something new for this fight. I have wrestled with an alligator. I done tussled with a whale. I done handcuffed lightning, throw thunder in jail. Only last week, I murdered a rock, injured a stone, hospitalized a brick. I'm so mean, I make medicine sick." He once said, "I am the greatest." And I said that even before I knew I was. I think Ali truly believed he was the greatest. And that's exactly what he became. It reminds me of a scripture. If you can believe, all things are possible to him who believes. Or another, as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. I wish I had mastered these lessons early in life, at a time where I didn't give much thought as to who I was and who I could become. I lived not thinking about tomorrow, but only how could I get over today? What's the next scheme? This thinking led my life to spiral out of control. Through shady dealings and that get-over mentality. I once found myself fleeing the scene, running for my life as I was being shot at. In yet another instance, I found myself in a more intimate setting. I landed myself staring down the barrel of a 9mm handgun, held by a gentleman who I once considered a good friend. In 1 year's time, my life went from party every day to homeless. Living in the backseat of a 1981 Pontiac Barbecue. Fellow Toastmasters, ladies and gentlemen, at the age of 21, I didn't know about the law of belief. I didn't understand that I would become who I accept and agree to be through my everyday thoughts. That is until my cousin Dee Dee sat me down. She asked me something that will forever change my life. She looked me in the eyes. She said, "George, what are you going to do with your life?" Up until that point, I hadn't given it much thought. And when I did, my decision was to join the United States Marine Corps. Now, upon entering boot camp, I won't lie to you, I couldn't even finish the 1.5 mile requirement. I had completely given up less than a mile into the run. Now, as you can imagine, I felt discouraged. That is, until I thought about the life I left behind. I became more determined than ever. I started to take to heart what the drill instructors would constantly remind me. Casey, pain is only weakness leaving the body. And I believed it was. As I walked through 3 of the toughest months of my life, my thoughts began centering around things like honor, courage, commitment, mission accomplishment. And that's when I decided to be the greatest. The greatest me that I could be. And just like that $100 bill, life had folded me. Life had balled me up and even stepped on me. But I realized it didn't decrease my value. In fact, all the things I went through only increased my value. But it begins with a thought. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll ask you, what are your thoughts? What are your actions that suggest greatness? What are the words that you use when thinking about or talking about yourself and others? These are the things that are going to shape your destiny. But remember, it's what we believe with conviction that will become our reality. Consider this. There's greatness in everyone. We must, as Deepak Chopra reminds us, find that place inside ourselves where nothing is impossible. That little voice that will face the world and say, let me show you how great I am. Say to yourself, I am the greatest. I am the greatest.